I wanted to take a look at this because this is something that has really kind of taken hold in the football hemisphere. And now this article here is with the New York Times, but it's talking about this situation with the NFL's concussion settlement plan and benefits. And now this article is from August 25th, 2020, and it kind of was a precursor to the more relevant breaking news that came out last week in regards to players having issues with what's going on in this concussion settlement program. I'm just going to go through a little bit here of this first article, and then we'll go into the most recent one. It says, Black former NFL players say racial bias skews concussion payouts. The players say doctors use two scales, one for Black athletes, one for white, to determine eligibility for dementia patients.
Interesting.
And yeah, this is something that I've got a lot of different feelings about, because I just feel like there's so many inadequacies in the NFL Players Association and how they handle this. I feel like there's so much that's being caught up in red tape by the NFL and their lawyers, and it is literally beginning to cost players, their lives. Guys are not able to get the kind of financial backing or financial payments that they need based on the settlement. And while the NFL has paid out a nice chunk of money, they have not paid out anywhere near the full amount that they should be paying out in regards to the concussion settlements. But it says here, 2 retired players have accused the NFL of explicitly and deliberately discriminating against hundreds, if not thousands, of Black players who filed dementia-related claims in the landmark concussion settlement reached in 2013. Making it harder for them to qualify for payouts worth as much as $3 million. In 2 legal actions filed Tuesday in the United States District Court in Philadelphia, players asked that the judge stop the league from insisting that race-based benchmarks be used to evaluate players' claims. They also asked that the scores of Black players' neurocognitive exams be recalculated using race-neutral scales that will put them on an even footing with white players. In effect, the settlement as it has been administered has a white door and a black door, says Cyril Smith, a partner at Zuckerman Spader and the lead counsel for 2 players who are Black, Najee Davenport, a former running back, and Kevin Henry, a longtime defensive end. Najee Davenport, that's a name that most people will probably be familiar with. Yep. He played recently in the league. And it says, although the neurocognitive tests behind each door are the same, the raw scores for Black players and white former players are interpreted differently when they are converted to scores that are used to determine whether a player is eligible for payment. The allegations of systematic discrimination are the latest and perhaps most damning criticism of the settlement, which has been stung by delays, predatory lenders, accusations of fraud, and a lack of transparency since players began filing claims 4 years ago. They come at a particularly awkward time for the NFL, which has battled the perception that it has dismissed the concerns of Black players, who make up about 70% of the league's active players. Now, I'm going to move forward from this one because this next bit of information from the New York Post is actually a fair bit. I think it's a little bit of the same, but with a couple of different players. And I've actually got a little bit of I would say exclusive information to provide on this, because there were some people who reached out to me to talk about some things when I posted a couple of tweets about this last week. But this article here says NFL concussion settlement program uses racist guidelines. Neurologist. The NFL National Football League's concussion settlement program uses racist guidelines in its medical evaluations, claims a neurologist who once worked with the initiative. The program, overhauled last decade after an extended court battle, compensates retired players if neurological problems they suffer as a result of their time in the pros are confirmed by a medical exam. But the NFL has come under fire after two former players in Daje Davenport, Kevin Henry, sued and claimed they were shut out of compensation because the league required doctors to adjust cognitive testing scores of black players based on race, implying they will necessarily score lower than their white counterparts. The practice called race norming is a clear example of racism, according to Dr. Daniel Cantor, a past president of the Florida Society of Neurology, who assessed former NFLers for the settlement program from 2017 to 2019. Now, just taking a little pause there, and coming back to you, Eben. How do you view that? I mean, I didn't really, before last week, I had no idea about black norms and white norms, which is an actual thing. That's an actual thing that they use, that the NFL recommended that practitioners use when giving these neurological exams and when they were actually trying to calculate the scores to decide what kind of payment these guys were going to get. I mean, how do you see that? I mean,
I'm so confused by what is the medical basis of that? What is that? What is race norming? What is white? That's totally something I've never heard of before. I mean, I would like to know more about that, and I would like to understand what the medical philosophy behind that would be. That's mind-blowing to me. That they would give. I don't even understand how that, this whole thing, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, we know we've got an owners league, right? But literally, like that article said, 70% of the players in the NFL are black. You know what I mean? So it's like, this just doesn't, I'm kind of baffled by it. Obviously, how has your process been? Have you dove into that concussion settlement, or have you gone through any of the other disability benefits?
Well, there's a couple of things in regards to where I'm at with mine. And I see Snake Oiler put a question in the chat. Have we taken a CTE test? Well, there's really not. There's been a CTE test that's been developed that you can take while alive, but it hasn't, that's still kind of going through the stages. It's not 100%. The only way to conclusively know that whether you have CTE or not is to examine the brain once you die. So right now, that would be the only true 100% certain way to get it done. But I know and this is the crazy thing that I've seen since dealing with the whole benefit system in the NFL, is that I have a number of former teammates and other players that I know who still who've been declined multiple times for their line of duty payments.
Yeah.
And these are guys who played like a year or two longer than I did. And they're not getting, the same, they're not hitting the same point threshold when they clearly have physical problems and ailments that we have, pretty much come to expect from players to at least be able to get full line of duty benefits. But I know guys who haven't been able to get it.
Yeah.
And I know guys who really don't even have much of an issue themselves, but they got full coverage. I got full line of duty, and my exams that I took, I mean, my shit was fucked up. It was like, yeah, your shit's fucked up. But again, it comes down to who is the one testing you. Because in my case, the guy who tested me, it took like 5 minutes and he just wrote down, boom, boom, boom. You get all the points, and you go. But I had another teammate who actually did his in the same place I did mine and played 2 years longer than I did. And he didn't get it. He didn't get approved for any line of duty. And there's no way, because he was an offensive lineman too. There's no way. I actually, got into this conversation with many with a couple of different groups that actually are advocates for the NFL retired players. Now this obviously right here, if I click on this was the video that actually
a lawsuit filed by 2 black former players
that actually goes
to the
into
landmark 2013 NFL concussion settlement program, which paid eligible former players suffering from the effects of head injuries.
What was the result of the claim you filed?
I was denied, and we're asked to function in our daily lives like normal human beings.
In its rejection of Henry's claim, the claims administrator questioned whether his performance on the test was valid and asserted that the doctor used inappropriate norms. 2 years later, Henry went in for another evaluation with a neuropsychologist.
Yeah, is that about...
Like, what does that mean?
Are they saying that black dudes are more susceptible to brain damage than white guys, or white guys are more susceptible to brain damage than black? Is that what that's based on?
That's a great question. I'm truly like not sure. I'm not sure what that means.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
But let's go through a little bit more. And this is about a
psychologist
5-minute video.
Now this clinician used an NFL recommended formula that took into account age, gender, education, and race, and concluded that Henry did not qualify for compensation.
How did you react when you learned that there was a different standard being used for black players to get benefits as compared to white players?
I felt so betrayed, and I still feel that way. 2 different systems? How can that be okay? Why should that be okay?
It's a controversial practice commonly known as race norming. In medicine, it's supposed to help doctors make better diagnoses by using race to make assumptions about a patient's background. But critics say it is not an accurate tool and has no place in the settlement program.
Okay, and I'm partially pausing here so I don't like run into the entire copyright bullshit with YouTube. But race norming, I've never heard of. I never heard of that until this video explained a little bit about what it is. Now, it's weird because this video prompted me to go back and check out a video from John Oliver's Last Week Tonight, in which and it's a video that I think is back from like 2017 or 2016, but it covers the same topic where they're talking about the techniques that doctors use in diagnosing and treating and prioritizing their patients based on race. Like they literally do it based on race. And it blew my mind because I was like, so they're actually treating people literally differently based on their race.
So this is a medical thing.
This is a medical thing. This is like a practice that they actually are involved in. But we'll keep going through. We got about 2.5 minutes left on it.
Effect of using this race norm for the NFL is that it drastically limits the amount of damages they're going to have to pay out. It's almost the classic definition of racial discrimination, using race as a basis of denying benefits to a disadvantaged or subordinated group because of race.
And now, in a lawsuit, Henry and another former player are accusing the NFL of avoiding paying head injury claims based on a formula that requires race norming. They say the practice is discriminatory because it assumes black players start at a lower cognitive level than white players. And that makes it harder for...
Whoa. So it assumes that black players start at a lower cognitive level than white players. What?
Wow.
That's racism fucking defined. Like, that's literally racism personified right there. So I know that there are people, you know, in my audience who, you know, who listen to numerous different things in regards to, you know, the woke shit or the fucking like, I don't know, like the race swapping, race baiting, whatever, all that stuff. This is just an example of real life discrimination and racism that costs motherfuckers money, that costs people livelihoods, that have probably costed people their lives before. And this is built in. This isn't even like the NFL said, hey, you know, let's run with this. This is built into the fucking formula. This is what they put in the formula.
Of the medical establishment, period. Not the NFL. It's
part of the institutional criteria. It's part of their institutional norm, literally,
Western
to do
medicine.
This.
Yeah.
Black former players to qualify for compensation.
I just want to be looked at the same way as a white guy. We went out together and we played hard together. It wasn't no white or black thing. We lost together, we won together.
Whenever a clinician, a neuropsychologist, tries to use something other than black norms for black players, white norms for white players, the NFL has consistently attacked those clinicians because they haven't used those black norms for black players.
Explosive emails exclusively obtained by ABC News appear to show multiple clinicians agreeing with that assessment. Several neuropsychologists who work with the NFL privately discussing the lawsuit, saying they feel that factoring for race was all but required under the program. One saying if they didn't use the racial norms, there would be multiple inquiries levied at them.
Wow. And I mean, that's more to it there, that they're literally putting the squeeze on clinicians to use these discriminatory norms, I guess, quote unquote norms. And that's just bullshit. That is such bullshit to me that is literally the tactic they use to avoid paying out the right amount. So in theory, well, not even in theory, in practice, you know, you have white players who are getting, you know, and through no fault of their own. I mean, shit, they didn't know. They don't know as much as I would assume the black athletes didn't know, that, you know, you're literally being judged differently, and white guys are more often than not probably making more money or getting more in way of benefits from the program than the black players are. Which, I mean, come on, man. I mean, we're talking about guys who went out, like he said, like, you know, me and you fucking played together for years, dude. Like, it didn't matter. It never mattered to us what our fucking race was. We didn't give a fuck. Nobody, you know, that's not what guys go out there on Sundays and play for. That just doesn't factor in. You know, I've always told people the football locker room is one of the few places in all of human existence where racism 99% of the time does not exist. It doesn't exist because it can't exist in that atmosphere without destroying the entire team dynamic. You know, you're going out there with your brothers. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And this is just a disgrace. But, I mean, are we really that surprised? The NFLPA, the NFL, they collude and do all kinds of bullshit together.